everyone, welcome to Creepy Popcorn, where today we're going to be talking nothing but paranormal stuff. But before that, my name is Jason.
My name is Marilee.
And this is our first video together.
Like
okay?
this.
Like this. And we have come together, we're collaborating because we have stories to tell you guys. And we also want to hear your stories regarding the paranormal state of mind, which it involves you thinking outside of the normalness. And that is the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about what should this channel be named.
That's not true. We spent like 3 hours trying to figure out what the channel was going to be called.
I kind of forgot how long that was while eating dinner and all of that stuff. But we always have talked about spooky stories while eating breakfast, and it just came to my head like maybe we should make a channel because I'm pretty sure we do. We don't stop unless someone tells us to stop. But that's another story for another video. But we have stories to tell you guys because we want this video, our first video, to be about us.
We want you guys, to get to know us.
Yes, we want that, but we certainly want you guys to know that we have our own personal paranormal stories, and we want to share it with you guys. I mean, this is going to be my first time talking about stuff like this because normally I don't do this, but I feel like it is definitely needed and it is something different, and I like watching others talk about their stories, so why not, talk about mine? And I'm pretty sure you have a lot. Maybe. But we're going to go ahead straight into it. I'm going to talk about a story of mine that brought me into this paranormal shenanigans, and you have a story too that you're going to share with us. I do have a story
that I've never told anyone, not even him.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to be prepared to be like completely wowed, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have something to say. And if you
drop a comment.
Yeah, drop loads of comments. Go ahead and subscribe, because if you do, you're going to be the first time subscribers of this channel, and you guys will be head on notified. Make sure you hit the bell too. When we lay out, our stories, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want to be first in line to watch them and comment first like everyone else does. So do it.
Become an OG.
Exactly. Become an OG. I like that. But yeah, let's go right into it. Sit back, relax.
And maybe grab some popcorn.
Grab yes, because you're going to need it.
Or whatever snack doesn't have to be
I hope
popcorn.
you have popcorn. Guys, so our first story is going to be about a doorknob. Well, not just about a doorknob, but about a situation that happened to me when I was 8 years old, I believe. And I was living in New York, mom and dad, and we had what looked like to me, if I can remember, it was an apartment where we lived on the second floor. And we were living there for probably, before this event happened, it was probably maybe 4 years already, or maybe 3. I'm not sure. When you're a kid, you're having so much fun. Time flies, and one day it feels like 1 hour. But it was fun, and this involves it certainly involves the nighttime. Okay, it involves, I think this was like 12 a.m. around 12. They always say, you should be sleeping around this time, and I clearly can see why. But I, for some reason, was sleeping, but I remember waking up because I was hearing noises. So just to kind of paint this picture in your mind, me and my brother slept in the first room, and then there's a middle room, and then there's a master bedroom where my mom and my dad slept. And our room led to the living room / dining room, and then the kitchen was on the left-hand side, and then there was like a hallway, and that hallway led to the bathroom being in the middle, and then the steps that led you downstairs to go outside. All right, so if I have that picture, painted, cemented into your mind,
hopefully
that is exactly how the outline of the house was in New York. And this was back in, I think this was my brother he was not born yet, but he was in my mom's stomach at that time.
It was almost there.
He was almost there. That's what it was. And we just, you know what? I think we just came from Florida. So we left the house, we moved to Florida, and then we just came back. So from what I can remember, again, I was 8 years old, but this what I'm about to tell you is the story that led me to believe in that there is more to this life than what the average eye can see. So you keep that in mind. So I woke up because I was hearing noises, and my door, I always slept with my door closed. My door has to be closed. Okay, when I was a kid, I had a fear against the door being open because the lights were turned off, but the only light that was on was in my room. And me and my brother slept in the same bed. He slept down and I slept up. We didn't have like separate beds. We only had one bed. So everything else was dark. So the dining / living room, dark, kitchen, dark, everything was dark. So the only room that had light was my room. All right. So, that's how scared I was. I was scared of something I didn't know, because again, I was not into paranormal things. I didn't even know things like this existed, but they exist.
It was unopened to your mind.
It really was. Yeah, clearly, like you're saying. But this one night, I woke up because I was hearing noises, and in my head, I'm thinking, wait a minute, are we getting robbed? Is there someone walking inside our house, our hallway? Did someone just break in? That's the only thing I could think of, because there's nothing else. That my mom was already home and she was sleeping. My dad home, he was sleeping.
Nobody's.
My brother is right in front of me. He is sleeping. So there's clearly nobody else that should be in this house. Everyone's accounted for. So it was just us. So I'm thinking to my head, like, should I scream or should I not scream? And the only thing I can do throughout this whole entire situation of hearing noises was to just look at my door. So I kept looking at my door. And this door was all white. It had one of those old-fashioned doorknobs that looked like you can put one of those old-fashioned keys inside and turn the doorknob. But this doorknob was not locked. This doorknob was open, and all you would have to do is just turn the doorknob, and it would clearly just open up the door. And I was thinking to myself that if there was anything or something outside of my room, that they were going to come to my doorknob and that they were going to probably provide us with something that we don't want to be involved. I'm just frightened. I'm hearing just these noises. I even heard silverware rattle. I'm like, who's in the kitchen? Thinking to myself, like,
cooking up a midnight snack.
Right. Who's doing this? It isn't my brother, which I was thinking, like, maybe it was my brother. I'm not sure. But I just kept hearing, like, these footsteps and silverware. And listen, to this day, it frightens me when I talk about it. It makes that every hair, like just now, just stand. Like, it's pop is the word. And I was just like, whoa, what is going on? Like, I don't know if I should scream. Like, have you ever been in a situation where you want to scream, but then again, you don't want to scream because you don't want anyone thinking you're weird, right? Yeah, like that.
Like,
was
you're scared,
me.
but you want to act tough.
Well, not that, but it's like I was thinking about surviving and like how
Your
to not.
8-year-old mind was thinking about surviving,
not giving away my position, and not only that, but like I did not want to see what was behind that door. I wanted that door to stay closed, stay shut, and just, can I go to bed? Like I wanted to just go to sleep, but I could not because I knew something was there. I don't know what it was, but something was there. And then the worst thing happened, okay? The worst thing happened. And what happened there was that my doorknob actually moved. My doorknob actually moved. It made that sound too. It was like it just,
in a horror movie.
It just moved. Like these movies, when they make these movies, they make them based on stories that other people have been able to provide them with. And my story is just like the movies. Like that doorknob, literally, I saw it moved in slow motion, and I saw my life flash before my eyes. Literally,
your 8 years of life at the time
flash before my eyes. Like I did not think I was gonna make it past this night. The only thing I could think of in my head was, do not open up my door. Whatever you are, don't open up my door. And whatever it was, it did. So it opened up my door. And when it opened it up, I screamed my life away. Like there was no more of me holding back. There was no more of me trying to be tough. There was no more of me wondering what was behind my door, because what I saw was nothing. The door opened up. The door, like I said, the doorknob moved. The door opened up, and there was nothing behind my door. So then I screamed. My mom woke up, and when she woke up, she quickly walked to my room and she asked me what was wrong, and I told her there's someone opened up the door. And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, someone opened up the door. I don't know who. Someone opened up the door. And she was like half asleep. I mean, like, can you imagine you waking up in the middle of the night and like screaming, and you hear screaming, your kid, and the only thing you could think of, like maybe your kid is having a bad dream, and this wasn't a bad dream. And she went to the door, and I could see her struggling to close the door. She was struggling to close the door, and I told my mom. She finally got the door closed, but I told my mom, can I sleep with you tonight? And she was like, sure. So I went, and I remember I left my brother. All right, I left my brother laying in the bed because he was, I cannot believe he was like sleeping after me screaming.
Yeah, I was about to say, he slept through your screaming.
He literally did, slept through it. And I remember leaving him, and I went to the master room, and I got in the middle of my mom and my dad, and mind you, again, I'm 8 years old, and I'm just laying there, you know, as their presence is comforting me. But throughout the night, I kept thinking about who was that opened up my door. So I woke up the next morning. It was time for us to go to school. My dad had already left to go to work, and I remember trying to be this kid with the eyeglass, the detective magnifying glass thing, and I was like trying to find out if there was like any footprints on the floor, and I could not find any. And I told my mom, you know, last night, do you remember about what happened? And she said, don't worry about it, don't talk about it. And that was it. And I remember going to school and being in school, but while I was in the you know, in session in school, my mind was not there. My mind was left at home in that moment. I was stuck in that moment, and that moment led me to believe that there is something else in this world than what we are naturally exposed to, which is sometimes nothing, because we have to, it's more tangible if we can feel it and touch it and see it. But yeah, this story opened so much for me, and it led me to this eventually. Now, you know, years later, look at me now, sharing it with people, sharing it with millions, hopefully. But yeah, that was my story, and that was frightening for me, and I hope it was for you. And I hope that you guys can relate to that one. And if you guys have any feedback, let me know. But we're gonna go right on to the next one. My daughter, she has her story.
Okay, so my story is more so an experience that I don't want to jump and say, oh, that was a ghost, but it was weird. So I went through this period of time where I could only sleep on my back. I would not fall asleep in any other position. So, I go to bed like one night normally, and I go to lay on my back. And all of a sudden, I feel movement on my legs. So like from my knees up, not like all the way up, but like to my mid-thigh, I feel like something moving like this. And automatically I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a mouse on my bed. I'm like, yo, there's a mouse on my bed. So I get up and I look for it. And when I get up, the movement stops. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I really thought there was a mouse on my bed. Or something like that. And I look for it, and I grab my phone, flashlight, and I turn it on, and I'm like, yo, where is this mouse? And nothing's there. And I even like waited a few seconds to see if I hear it, and nothing's there. I felt around the covers, nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure there's a mouse in my room, but it probably jumped off my bed. I'm just gonna lay back down. So I lay back down, flat on my back, and nothing happens for a few seconds. And then again, like a movement like this, back and forth across my legs. So I get up and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And I'm like, where is this mouse? Because I did not think it was, my mind didn't jump to, yo, there's a ghost in my room. I'm thinking it's a mouse, or it's a spider, or it's a cockroach. Hopefully not. That's what I was thinking in my head, like, please don't let it be a cockroach or a mouse. But I'm almost sure that's what it was at the time. So, I'm looking and nothing. So I'm like, I remember I got up and I started searching my room because I was like, there has to be something.
Like in the dark, or did you
I had my phone flashlight on. I don't know why I didn't just turn on the light. So, I searched nothing, obviously. And I laid back down in bed. I laid flat on my back. And so I'm laying flat on my back and it starts again. And I just let it happen. I'm just like, maybe it'll stop on its own. Maybe whatever mouse or whatever it is going. And here's the thing to note. It was very specific. It went straight across and straight back from my knee to my mid-thigh. It wouldn't go any below the feeling, or it wouldn't go any higher, brushing the covers. And it just didn't stop. So I'm thinking to myself, I have school tomorrow, and it is very hard to fall asleep when you feel like you're being touched and you can't figure it out. So I sit up in bed, and I'm just like, you know what? Whatever this is, I have to just ignore it. So I went to bed. I eventually, at some point, fell asleep, but I did not have a good night's sleep. I go through my next day, and then it's time to go to bed again. So I kind of forgot that it happened. I thought it was just a weird thing, it wasn't going to happen again, and then it did. Here I am laying flat on my back, and something is running, or it feels like something is moving like this, back and forth, across my knee to my mid-thigh. And now I'm like angry. Now I'm like, okay, what the heck is this? So I sit up and I'm just looking at my legs, and I'm like, there's no way that I'm being haunted. I kept telling myself this. I'm like, this is no ghost. I'm not crazy. I feel this, and it's happened twice already. And my nights were like that for almost 2 weeks. I think more than that, where it kept happening. Running across, I would lay flat on my back, and I just did not sleep. It's hard to fall asleep if you can't find out what this frustrating thing is. So it came to a point where I would expect it to happen every single night, and I was like, this is just gonna happen the rest of my life. That's what I kept telling myself, because there was no reason this should be happening, you know? If it's a mouse or a bug of some sort, why was it so specific from my knee to my mid-thigh? Why was it happening only when I was laying flat on my back? And I couldn't, every time I tried to move and sleep on my side, I couldn't, it felt uncomfortable to me. So I had to sleep on my back. And I had to just eventually just be so tired that I fell asleep. And when I would wake up, I would be like, well, that was not a good night's sleep. And then it came one night, or when I was getting ready for bed, I was angry. I was like...
This was another night?
This was like the last night, you know, of this happening. It came to a point where I was like, you know what, whatever this is, screw you. Because I have not slept, and I go to school, and I have so much to do, but I haven't been getting sleep. And I became so angry that I was like, I'm just not going to care anymore. I'm not going to, you know, give to anything. So, and that night, it didn't happen. And it has not happened since. So I had to get angry with whatever it was and force myself to not care for it to stop. And I want to say something before we continue. I now look back at it and I think, well, maybe it could have been the fact that we have AC. Maybe it could have been the air. But why would it be so specific from my mid-thigh, my knee to my mid-thigh? And how come it just stopped out of nowhere? And so I've never felt, you know, while watching horror movies or whatever, I've never been the type of person to let it affect me afterwards. But when this was happening to me, and when it would happen to me, I felt so threatened and like I was in danger. And that's why I was angry, because I felt like I was in trouble or I was in danger, but there was nothing there. And then one night I got angry with it and it stopped. And it hasn't happened since.
So now you done heard my life story. Well, not really, because I have many more. Your life story. I don't know if I've ever spoken to you about what I just talked about here. I'm pretty sure I have. I'm very open with my kids
So tell us every little detail.
Things, because to me it's like no filter. I believe that you should be open, and what better time to be open to a lot than
When
as a
you're
kid,
young.
you know, young, because that's when I was open to it. I had no choice. It came to me, so I was like,
It
I had
came
to
knocking
go
on
through
your
it.
door.
It didn't knock on my door.
It just opened your
It
door.
opened my door. See, knocking says, "Can I come in?"
But it was just like, hi, here I am.
It came in. But ultimately, you know, these stories that which I have told and the story that you have told have so many things in common. And it involves the unknown. It involves things that we can't really
Explain.
exactly explain. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to not be able to explain. It's okay to sometimes allow for your mind to just, you know, explain it for you in your way that you can make it understand. And that's what I have been able to do in my lifetime, is just explain it on my own and make it understand to me, because if not, you will go crazy. If, you know, and there's nobody out there but yourself to kind of understand what you're going through, and you have to accept it. And things like this is just, it's weird, and not everybody's going to sit here and be like, you know what, I agree, because many are probably going to think, like you said, maybe it was the air conditioner, maybe it was the wind, but why specific?
Yeah.
You know, and you know what, you might live with that for the rest of your life. And just like me, I'm living with my door being opened from out of nowhere, and to this day I don't know what it was, didn't see. And you know what, after that day, it never happened again. You know what happens when we are sleeping
Video coming to you
sometimes,
soon.
right? Sometimes we're not meant to see everything, you
That
know.
is very true.
But I just want to, if you made it this far, at the end of this video, I want to say thank you. And that means a whole lot to me. I know it means a whole lot to you. And we hope that we can provide you with more content like this and moving forward. Right now, we don't have an ETA on when the next video is going to drop. But now that we gave you guys a little bit about us, we're going to be introducing to you other stories that have piqued our minds, our interests, and we'll review it with you guys too. And thank you once again. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Peace.